Town, Miami, where the PGA Tour has been coming since 1962. A golf course that was designed for punishment and specifically to test the best players on the planet. A par 72, weighing in at over 7,700 yards. It's the second longest course that we will have seen on tour this season, as 72 of the world's best get set to take on the fifth signature event of the season. As we welcome you in, Ned Michaels, alongside two men who know a thing or two about Florida golf, and Billy Kratzert, a four-time winner on the PGA Tour, and of course, Matt Every, who went back-to-back at Palmer's Place. Billy, I want to start with you because over a 10-year period in your career at Doral, you had 6 top 15 finishes, including 4 top 10s. You had a couple of looks and chances to win. How do you tame this monster?
Well, I didn't win, so I didn't tame it all that much. But it was always a tough golf course. And we've been talking, preparing for this, about how tough it is to play in South Florida in the wind. But now the Blue Monster that we used to call it is now, it was under a renovation. In fact, it's been tweaked a couple of times. I think it's a much tougher golf course now than when I played. I thought the par threes were always the key to playing well at Doral throughout the years. I think it's even more important now with the renovation because you now have the false edges, the false backs, false fronts, and you have more bunkering. The bunkering is sensational. I mean, they're in the right spots. They're going to capture some golf balls, some shots. So I think going forward, I think it's going to be a stern test of golf, especially if they get 10, 15-mile-per-hour winds. I'm going to be smiling watching it.
Which is the norm down there.
Yeah.
Matt, you were down there earlier in the week. What did you make of it?
I was down there yesterday, Ned. These guys were walking off the course just licking their wounds. This used to be the Blue Monster. It's now the Big Bad Blue Monster. I'm serious. Just under 7,800 yards. There's nothing easy about this. I'm pumped because we're getting true Florida golf. When we roll through the Florida swing, all those courses are covered in overseed. There is some Bermuda influence, no doubt about it, but not the heavy one we're going to get this week down there at Doral. All Bermuda, wall to wall. It's going to be a tough test. 19 under par, the scoring record here. We're not going to be anywhere near that this week.
Well, the last time we were here was 2016, where Adam Scott walked away a winner. And he said, if you want to win at the Blue Monster, you better be a proper striker of the ball. And there aren't many better than Adam Scott. He came from 3 shots behind on Sunday. And the last time we saw the Blue Monster in action on the PGA Tour. Adam, at 45 years old, is in the field. And he's actually a guy that you might want to keep your eye on. We're going to watch him on the range here momentarily. But Billy, you talked about it. Take a look at some of the history of the Blue Monster, all the way back to 1962 when it began, a $50,000 purse back in 1962. 2016, that was the last time we were here, 56 events at the Blue Monster, and Tiger, a 4-time winner. He had 9 top 10s in his 11 starts around the Blue Monster. And then, of course, Tiger and Phil, the 1900, you just mentioned that scoring record. We're not going to sniff it, huh?
Nowhere near. I mean, Billy mentioned the winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. A lot of guys yesterday were just blown away at how hard this golf course is. It's long. I mean, 7,700 yards. It's not overly firm out there, not wet by any means, but it's early in the week. We'll see where it goes. But there's just, you have to live out of the screws here if you want any chance to take down the trophy on Sunday.
And it was Gil Hance who came in 2013 for the big renovation. And Billy, as you said, has been tweaked a few times since then. But it was one of the easier golf courses on the PGA Tour before that renovation. And a man now who's going to have to tackle it, the world number 1, Scottie Scheffler, 9th start of the season, a couple of runner-ups in his last 2 outings.
Yeah, I think he's doing just fine this year. A slow start, but thank God it's a slow start for the rest of the field. A lot of these golf tournaments he's been playing in, Ned and Billy, I mean, if these things go 9 more holes, he's taking them down. He's just running out of holes. I think we're over the bad start stuff. For me, the irons were mediocre to start the year, but the 3rd round at Augusta was it was a clinic with the irons. He gained more than 2 strokes to the next best as far as approach play is concerned. That is insane to be 2 shots better than the next best guy in one area of the bag in one day.
Yeah, we often look at the iron play with him. I mean, he lives out of the fairway. And when he's driving it well and then he has the iron in hand, every hole location is accessible for Scottie.
You know, something we're going to see a ton this week, or you're going to hear a ton this week, is air traffic. The airport's right next door here. And Billy, you gave me a tip a while ago. You never pull the trigger when the plane's coming. It's always when it's going away, right?
Exactly.
What's the reason? You're going to swing too fast when it's coming?
Oh, when it's coming, you're the anticipation, and all of a sudden, you think you swing fast now? Wait till that plane just starts bearing down on you. You'll really swing fast.
It's a real thing, and this week it's going to be in play, no doubt about it. I mean, every 2 minutes there's a plane landing, so a lot of noise to deal with.
Not all that different than having Scottie Scheffler bearing down on you.
He's that guy in the helicopter. He's hovering over you, just waiting.
You really got to like his chances this week. I mean, wall-to-wall Bermuda, a course where there's really no faking it. I mean, just littered with bunkers and water all over the place. And you got to think a guy that lives out of the screws and kind of beats you death by 1,000 cuts. This is right up his alley. He'll let everyone else mess up. And I just have a feeling by week's end, this guy's going to end up on the top of the leaderboard.
Collected his 20th win earlier in the season out in the Palm Springs desert of California at the American Express Championship. 20 wins and 158 starts.
I think you can make the argument that he's probably, just a few swings that we've seen right now, that he's probably swinging the best, even though he won early in the season. But I think he might be swinging right now the best of 2026. This is the best version that I've seen. Just watching him hit balls, watching him warm up. You look at the plays where he finished the last 2 tournaments, second place, both events that he played. And you're right, Matt. You know, you start talking about a slow start. Well, you talk about 9 holes at Augusta on Friday. When you make a pair of sixes on 13 and 15, and you kind of thought that he was going to be out of it, and all of a sudden pushed it all the way to the end. And if he made the putt on 17, who knows? He may have been the Masters champion, but, you know, all of a sudden, Scottie's kind of clicked. And I guess he heard enough about the top 20 and top 15 that a little tired of it.
Do you remember, you're talking about Thursdays and how he got off to rough starts earlier in the season. You remember in 2014, Rory had a similar sickness. It was called Freaky Fridays, where he wasn't playing well on Fridays. He finally worked his way through it, and then that summer, he won 3 events in a row, including a major and 2 World Golf Championships. And you kind of get the sense that Scottie has that same momentum, and that
I think I'm going back to Augusta still with Scottie. You know, there's 3 guys that could really be kicking themselves, not taking that thing down. You got Cam Young, Justin Rose, Scottie Scheffler, right? Scottie, I mean, he got nothing all week out of his game and only lost that thing by 1 shot. I'm wondering if Rory's win there, all the attention on Rory now, if that reignites a little bit of a flame underneath Scottie, like, hold on, do not forget about me. I'm playing quality golf. If we ran this thing back next week, I might win. I might win this by 10.
There's a lot to like about the way he's swinging the golf club right now.
always so meticulous with the grip. It seems to be, as you're saying, Billy, just settled in. Slide over and check in on Akshay Bhatia. He puts some stripes in here on the range. 24-year-old, 3 times a winner, including the Arnold Palmer Invitation.
Yeah, and if you're looking for, a guy this week that maybe isn't like at the very top of the favorites, but someone that could be a threat. I mean, hey, he won at Bay Hill this year. If you're looking for comparable courses, I mean, the big ballparks on the tour, Bay Hill, Torrey Pines, Memorial. I mean, there's no doubt to me, Billy, Doral is a horses for courses kind of course. I mean, Adam Scott wins in 2016. Before that, 4 top 5s in those last 5 starts here at Doral. So I think this is the type of player right here that'll be on the front page on Sunday. Just a big hitter, a guy that's had success on Bermuda. tough to tell what they're working on here. A lot of this stuff on Wednesday is just maintenance. I mean, I really doubt a lot of these guys are searching out there, Billy.
I would agree. I think when you look at Akshay Bhatia in his golf swing and you see a lot of what the swing coaches are teaching, you see the speed and everything, but I think you blend that along with the artistry that Akshay possesses. I think that makes him the dangerous player here at Doral. When he won Bay Hill, the 16th hole, par 5, that whole location over there on the left-hand side, he hits that slow little bleeder from right to left in there close, make the 3, go on to win. He's just that kind of player that...
Okay, it's big golf shots.
Yes.
Big curves, high apex, a ton of windows he can flight the ball out of. It's a top-tier talent on the tour. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and you can see 85%. He is fade bias.
It's kind of the modern player, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that because of equipment? We can fade it
a lot of it
easier and still get distance. It used to be you had to draw it to get the distance.
Yeah, I think just about every player on tour, if you ask what their go-to shot was, it'd be cut, fade.
And he's turned his putter into such a weapon.
Boy.
I mean, what a turnaround over the last 2.5, 3 seasons. And that was what carried him at Palmer's Place until Billy, the 16th, delivered one of the great shots of the season. The golf swing has gotten better each year from Akshay, the time he was a junior to even an amateur, when he would get a little inside and then across the line by his own admissions, and then just keep polishing it little bits instead of drastic big changes.
Yep. First time I saw him was in Tampa. And, you can tell, here's a high schooler, but yet you can tell this game's going to travel. You don't know when it's going to travel, but eventually he's going to get there and he's going to be just fine. He went through the whole deal, and he's not going to leave anytime soon.
I don't even think he's close to his ceiling yet.
Why not?
Well, I mean, he's just like what I mentioned before. I mean, there are no weaknesses here. As far as ball striking wise, he's got all 9 windows. He can play the correct shot. You talked about that shot he hit on 16 at Bay Hill. Not everyone has that shot in the bag. High fade back to, I mean, obviously the lefty, but age as well. He's still, smoothing out the edges, whatever that may mean. Getting a little more crafty around the greens. Your travel, you tighten up things with the travel. You know where to stay. I mean, he's still so young.
Yeah, you used a keyword, maintenance. Not only with the golf swing, but you have to have the maintenance off the golf course, because these guys swing with such speed. Remember back at San Antonio, when he won, all of a sudden there's a tweak of the back, and so it's all about these guys staying healthy. So stay healthy, swinging the golf club, stay off doing the wrong things so far as keeping the body in shape. You'll be good to go.
Also think, Ned, the more you put yourself in those positions, just naturally, the better you're going to get. I mean, you just figure things out when you're under the pump. Things you do wrong, things you do right, you learn from it, and
quail holler. You just go ahead and put that up right now.
Now the captain of the Ryder Cup team up in New York, Keegan Bradley. This game starting to round into shape. Some of the residue of the Ryder Cup worn off. Going to catch up with him when we come back. Welcome back to On the Range. We are live at Trump National Doral, presented by ReliaQuest. Bounce down to the range, catch up with Keegan Bradley, the 39-year-old who's ranked 27th in the world. It's been a subdued season so far for Keegan. 6 of 9 cuts made, finished 21st at the Masters. And then a tie for 12th at Hilton Head. So he's moving the right direction. He talked about how emotionally draining it was after the Ryder Cup. And it seems like he's trying to get some energy back under him, some wind under his wings, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, he's in an interesting spot. It's a guy, Billy, that I feel like he was robbed kind of 3 years of his career, the last 3 years, the position he was put in by the PGA of America a little bit. It was a tough spot for Keegan. I mean, you could make an easy argument he should have been on both of those teams. Ends up being on neither one of them, obviously captaining the second one. But I'm a little surprised at the slow start for Keegan this year with all that off of his plate. A lot of golf left this year, but I think, you know, for him, he's probably more than likely disappointed as well.
Well, and you could make an argument that last year he was probably playing some of the best golf of his career.
Yeah.
You know, so far as the ball striking, you know, put the ball in play, iron play, good. Just a good teammate, had the President's Cup, came up with big shots at the right time. And basically, the putters no longer a liability. I mean, yeah, everybody's going to go in and out of form with the putter, but he is such a reliable ball striker, and he has long arms, and
amazing driver of the ball.
And he stands a pretty good ways away from the ball, and you wouldn't teach that, but when you have arms that long, you can do that, and you can maintain that tilt of the upper body at the waist.
Right. I think, there might be guys out there that are 3 or 4 inches shorter than Keegan height-wise, but their clubs are the same length. And that's why you see Keegan, his his angles there. He stays in his posture so nice, but his angles are very defined at address, very sharp, and gets those hands super low with the address, stands it up a little bit on the way back because of that. But the big stuff in the bag, like long irons and then fairway woods and driver, this guy, he's about as good as it gets.
6 feet of curve, 280 yards.
I'm going to say that's straight.
Yeah, that qualifies as straight.
Yeah,
You have to go back to 2024, remember, where he was just on the cusp. It looked like he wasn't going to advance past Memphis in the FedEx St. Jude Championship. He had finished tied for 59th there. And then Tom Kim finished with 3 consecutive sixes. And that got Keegan into the next week. He was the final seat on the plane out to the BMW Championship, where he opened with a 66 and went on to win. Little breaks, but he was ready. He had talked about how when he and Scottie Vail, his caddy, a year and a half before, they had gotten together for the first time, and they had set out a plan. And he realized what was coming down the pipe, the signature events and the weight of what was coming and the big purses. And so he not only changed his body, he changed his caddy, got his equipment dialed in. It wasn't circumstantial that he just happened to play well. He had been preparing, and when he got that break, he broke right through.
And when the big moment came, hit the best 5-iron he hit in his career, according to him. Speaking of great stories, how about Gary Woodland?
So
this
good.
year, that tugged at the heart.
I'll bring you smiles. I'll text you so you can smile and laugh. Gotcha. Hey.
How about the knee flex? You know, not many people talk about the knee flex.
The right knee.
Yeah.
Yes, that right knee on the way back stays more flexed than anyone else on tour. I mean, a lot of guys lock that whole leg out, Billy.
John McGinnis was down on the ground earlier. He actually caught up with Keegan Bradley. Let's hear the conversation.
Keegan, amongst all of the technology on the range, there's a flight scope, there's a TrackMan. You're standing here with a pile of balls, hitting balls in a palm tree, going old school.
I'm old school. I'm like now one of the older guys out here, so I'm old school. But I used the TrackMan yesterday. Today, once I get closer to the tournament, I like to put all that stuff away. But I had it out yesterday.
What did you learn from it? I mean, we're down here in the tropics now.
Yeah, so I like to set the TrackMan up early in the week, and I have specific club numbers that I want. I want to be super neutral in my path. I have a tendency to back up, so I want my attack angle to stay high. And when those numbers are good, I just put it away. I don't keep looking. I want to get there and then move on.
That sounds like a good plan. What are you working on in your swing right now? What's a trigger?
So I have a tendency to bend over, so I try to stand a little taller. And then my real tendency is to really sway off the ball. So, I try to stay a little bit centered. And yesterday my coach was here and he thought my right foot was a little kicked in. And so that gets me sort of off kilter. So I'm just trying to feel like my right foot's a little kicked open there. And then that way I can kind of coil in my right side and stay there instead of like swaying off.
And keep the weight on the inside of the right foot, not let it get out to where things can happen.
When I am like really struggling on the course, and I have a couple keys, and one of them is inside right heel, inside left heel. Like when things are a disaster and I can't hit the ball, that's like one of my main thoughts.
I love it. Let's see you hit a couple. Do that. That's what I suggested. Do that again. Let's see. Yeah, that's really good and tight over that right side. It looks good, Keegan. I can't help you.
Thank you.
Go get him this week.
Thank you, brother.
That's good stuff.
We're going to watch Jason Day for a minute, but let's unpack what we just heard from Keegan Bradley, because there were some little pearls of wisdom in there, talking about the right foot was towed in and inside this and inside that. Billy?
I mean, when you start putting the right foot in, kind of towing it in just a little bit, it's going to shorten the golf swing. And, you know, he's always had the full swing throughout his whole career. And if you feel like, you know, you're not putting enough time in the backswing in order to have the proper sequence coming down, there's got to be something that you can do to help you get to that point. And he and his swing coach, they picked out the fact that, okay, just a little flare. I can get a little more into my right side, a little easier, and then unload on it.
Yeah, a couple things I picked up on there. One, there was nothing mechanical about what his coach told him or anything that he said. That was all set up, pre-shot stuff. That was at address, kick the right foot out. The other thing, I love when these guys tell us their feels, because I think everyone at home can kind of relate to that. And the feel of getting in the right heel, he's not at address. He's not sitting in his heels at address. This is when I turn, I'm getting into my right heel, and then on the way through, I'm getting into my left heel. And what that does is it keeps the lower body moving. The lower body stalls out when you get out in your toes. You have nowhere to go. The hips have to stall out, or you're going to fall over. So for me, that was the big takeaway, was just the feels. I'm obsessed with guys that are feel players. I love that he took the TrackMan away today a little closer to competition.
I was just about to say that.
Love that. I also love what he uses it for. I'm just looking at attack angle and trying to neutral out with my longer stuff. That's all you need it for. These guys know how far they hit the ball.
We often talk about shallowing out. And he was talking about staying a little steeper, coming in a little higher into the impact area, and being able to stay on top of the golf ball. And I love that.
Keep it simple, right?
You love those shorts right there?
Billy loaned them to Jason. Are you kidding?
It's like a watermelon.
38 years of age now.
I've been wanting a pair of those. So.
You got a birthday coming up. We'll have to get you some. 39th in the world is Jason Day. 15 wins on the PGA Tour.
Man, 15 of them.
You know, and having the opportunity to get to see him kind of practice when he's not at a golf tournament, because he'll venture to Ponte Vedra and he'll get down there and practice and be in the short game area. But just to watch him go about his business, the time he spends in the short game area, and then with the full golf swing. And you talk about whether it's meticulous, fastidious, whatever you want to define what he does. I mean, nothing's left undone.
Well, he's reconnected with Colin Swatton.
That was a good move.
And they have really drastically changed his equipment onto big grips. Actually, a company came to Jason's house and 3D printed a mold of the iron head that they kept tweaking and polishing until they got it exactly how Jason wanted it. They took the mold back and they cast him an entire set of irons. And they've got new age technology in the shafts as well.
Wow.
Excuse me, sir. We're trying to watch Jason Day flush one here. Stuck the finish. What do you say we take a look at Ricky Fowler? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll do that. Here in Doral, the first time we've been back to Miami on the PGA Tour since 2016. We're hanging out on the range. Trump National Doral, the Blue Monster, that's where we are. First time since 2016 the PGA Tour has been back. The golf course that began hosting the tour back in 1962. Billy Casper won that event. Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Ben Hogan, Sam Snead were all in the field. And if you look at those who have won this event on the Blue Monster, it is a list like a wing of the Hall of Fame, just flushers, all of them. The purest of the pure ball strikers. And you could put Viktor Hovland at one point in his career. You felt like he was in that echelon of a player. He was at the elite when it came to ball striking, but now a little bit of bouncing back and some searching.
A little bit of searching. It's not going to take much for him to get back on track, though. This guy's stuff's, it's nasty. I remember when he was working with Grant Wake, Grant told me that his club head through the impact zone is squarer than anyone else's ever measured on TrackMan. That's a deadly combo right there if you get everything synced up. See, he's got his phone pitched up on that golf ball. He's just reading the numbers off his phone from that TrackMan right there. This is interesting with Viktor. He's a guy that loves searching for information, always trying to get better. But it's a fine line out there, Billy, of when do I use too much of this side of the brain where it's affecting my scoring?
Right. You have two kinds of player. You have that player that wants to know everything, and
which is kind of the golf swing player.
Yeah, which is Viktor.
Yes.
And then you have the other player that just give me a little bit.
And I'm trying to get in the hole.
We just saw him, Keegan Bradley.
Yes.
So Viktor, I mean, he feels comfortable when he has the knowledge that his golf swing is exactly where he wants it. The feels kind of match what he's thinking about. He'll go look at the numbers. And you talk about a guy that puts the center of the club face on the back of the ball a lot.
Yeah.
It's this guy right here.
I mean, the course should set up nice for him. He's a guy that pretty much exclusively works it left to right, I would say, if he's going to shape it. A lot of the water, or a lot of the demanding holes out here with water are on the left side at Doral. There's a couple on the right, but 18 on the left, 10 on the left, 17 on the left, or 8 on the left. The thing that worries me about him here is chipping off these Bermuda surfaces. You can't hide here off this Bermuda. It's nasty, it's ratty, it's South Florida Bermuda grass. It's getting beat with sun all year long. And you get one of those into the green patches and you don't really know where the bottom is, or there's just a slight level of non-commitment at the bottom. You're going to look silly this week. And the guys that struggle a little bit with the chipping, I think you're going to get exposed. And vice versa. The guys that are proper chippers of the golf ball excel. They know where the bottom is. They live on the back of the ball down there. I think there's an opportunity to separate this week.
Yeah, and I think if he drives the ball reasonably well, I think the iron play is going to be, I think it's really going to be good this week, simply because we were talking about it earlier, Matt. The way that he plays above the plane, the steep angle that he comes in with the irons, the way, and you talked about being able to hold the club face on line longer than any other player on TrackMan. He has that strength.
Yes.
That.
You're right. That is strength, is what it is. It's like lat strength, is to stay in the shot that long and hold the face off that long. It's really, really hard to do unless you're just shredded.
We were talking about this before the show. We love these numbers from the ReliaQuest on the range by the numbers of balls hit through Tuesday. Almost 8,000 golf balls were hit, 71 players. Average ball speed of 126 and the average apex of 93 feet. And we're going to break it down throughout the day here on the range of who hit how many balls and what they were working on. It's a telling story of how they're preparing for this event.
It is. If you're looking for someone to win this golf tournament, I'd look away from this list right here, because this usually doesn't mean they're in a great spot if they're going through multiple bags of balls on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'd much, especially since this isn't a course that's been in the normal rotation on the PGA Tour, I personally would much rather spend my time on the golf course prepping this week. This tells me that these guys are searching a little bit. Now, obviously, Alex Fitzpatrick just won, but that could just be doesn't have a wife and kids, and he's got plenty of time to practice.
Yeah, he's got a little adrenaline going.
Yeah.
But I love the way that you picked on the two Georgia guys.
You like
number
that?
1 and 2.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
I'm going to save you here, Matt, at Florida Gator. That's you. I'm being told that John McGinnis is standing by with Ricky Fowler.
Ricky warming up with this new, old sand wedge. Tell me about this club.
Yeah, I feel like I liked the visual of no offset for so long, but I came to find over the years that I really loved how offset played. And so I feel like for quite a while now, offset's kind of been going out of the game. And so people are so used to just seeing kind of straight on, and that's what people think they prefer, partly because you haven't seen offset in quite a while. And that was something when you go back to, definitely 70s, 80s, 90s, like offset was in everything. So I'm kind of trying to bring it back a little bit more throughout my bag. Like my wedges, I usually start them at about, if I'm playing a 56, I'll start with a 58 head, bend it down to get some offset in it to a 56. This 60 I've been messing with, which we're going to build some stuff with Cobra as well. This is a Cleveland that Randy Smith and Roger Cleveland did. Wider sole, there's fairly low bounce, but the wider sole effectively it's going to play like some bounce there, but there's quite a bit of offset when you look at it compared to current clubs.
So you can hit it with the leading edge, and you can play bounce, which I think is huge.
Yeah, I've just found, like I said, I feel like there's a lot of benefits to offset. Wedges, irons, working on some new irons with some more offset. But for me, I found, shorter shots around the greens, did a lot better job with cleaner contact, not really having the leading edge being as diggy. Felt like it was a little cleaner, a little more consistent. So, yeah, we're always experimenting, seeing what's going to, work or work better.
Are you a gear guy? Do you have a garage full of just stuff?
I have a decent amount. I don't like getting rid of much. I like to mess around. I love to test, being able to, work on stuff, see how, certain things may affect and what it feels like in the swing. Because sometimes when it's being tested, by robot or, machines, it may say one thing, but as a player, obviously, there's different feels and how we react to those. So being able to give feedback and do different things like that, that obviously goes into shafts as well. It's something I've always enjoyed. I can take care of my basics at home from, either simple club building to all my, loft lies. Grips are obviously pretty simple, but I would say I'm a bit more old school when you look at it that
So
way.
you've got the loft and line machine. You've got everything. You've got the bending tools.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hurt yourself.
No, we keep it simple. It's, pretty basic. I mean, you get the, hook knife out. Got to make sure, you're not, do the grip away from you. We don't want to mess up anything there.
Have a great week.
Thanks.
You're always really generous with your time. We appreciate it.
You got it.
Either of you ever do your own grips,
Billy?
loft lies?
Yes.
I would think.
Yes.
No, for me.
I would think. Well, let's check in with our newest member of the PGA Tour, a winner last week in New Orleans. How about the Fitzpatrick brothers? This is Alex, a 27-year-old who, it was all about his brother who had won in Hilton Head, who was the third-ranked player in the world. But coming down the stretch, Alex held his own. He hit maybe the most important shot, not the most fabulous shot, but the most important shot, the tee shot on the par 3.
I thought Alex was nails all week. Sunday, you could argue he carried that team. You really could, Billy.
Yeah. When Matthew misstepped on the short par 4, put it over the green, I thought that shot right there for them to maintain the one-shot lead at that point, to get it up and down was huge. I mean, and then what you were talking about just a second ago, this tee shot at 17. I mean, things were going a little wonky for the Fitzpatricks.
Billy, I was covering this hole 17, and everyone in the field the wind was whipping off the right. Everyone in the field was sending that thing out to the right and still missing the green over there, bailing out. Matt Fitzpatrick hit a cut back up into that wind. It was filthy. He was in control of his game all week. Aesthetically, to the eye, you could almost argue Alex's swing is prettier than Matt's, I think.
Yeah,
Alex is he's a fader of the ball. I mean, last
Hmm.
week he had that thing slotted. I mean, he was hitting a 2 to 5 yard fade pretty much through the bag. I would say Matt works it the other way. He's a right to left player.
I just thought that there was only one shot coming down the stretch that Alex would love to have had over, and that was the wedge on 16 or the short iron on 16 when he hit it to the right. Other than that,
Yeah.
you're right. He was stones.
Ironically, remember at the Players Championship last year, it was Matthew who said enough's enough. He started working with a new coach, Mark Blackburn, down in Alabama. He left his longtime coach, Mike Walker. Well, Alex filled in. He started working with Mike about the same time. One of the things they said about was, especially this club, the driver, trying to get a little bit more reliable, more accurate. He has plenty of speed, plenty of distance, so they went to the predominantly left to right shot.
Yeah.
So Mike Walker and the Fitzpatrick family, pretty long, good history of incredible golf. And last week was... But he's been playing well. He had won in India on the
That's
DP
the
World
thing.
Tour.
I
He
mean,
ripped off 4 out of 5 top 20s.
I don't like the argument at all that we shouldn't be handing out tour cards to guys like Alex Fitzpatrick teaming up with their brother and winning tour events. It ain't that easy. And this is a hell of a player right here. He's already won the DP World Tour this year. And another thing, Billy, winning last week, it's not like, in today's day, right now, this might change in the next couple of years, but right now there are it feels like there's 2 different tours on the tour. You have your signature events and kind of your middle of the road events. Yeah. Alex Fitzpatrick he's playing the same tour as his brother now. I mean, the exact same one. He's in every single signature event. He's in the PGA Championship. This is a massive step up. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill tour card. He's got 2.5 years now to figure it out.
In the Players Championship as well, and he talked about it. He said his brother on Saturday night told him he slept like a log. And Alex said, I couldn't sleep a minute. Because he didn't even think about it till Saturday night when he realized, Billy, what was on the line.
Well, it's big. I mean, yes, he's been a professional. Play very well.
Now, this man has been playing well. Chris Gotterup, multiple wins already this season, 4 on his resume, and one of the heavy favorites this week in Doral. Our tracer technology is presented by TrackMan. The Blue Monster, Trump National Doral, that's where we are. It's a golf course that has hosted the PGA Tour nearly 60 times. It began in 1962. First time we've been back in a decade. It's a big ballpark, 7,700 yards, par 72. There's seemingly water on just about every hole, bunkers everywhere.
Yeah.
But that was the intent of the golf course. It was designed and renovated to test the best players on the planet. And this man, Chris Gotterup, has firmly established himself as exactly that, one of the best in the world.
Yeah, what you just described is right up Gotterup's alley. I mean, this is a big-time favorite this week, especially if the wind blows. Nobody is flighting the ball like Chris Gotterup is on the PGA Tour right now. And with 2 wins already this year, the confidence is sky high. It's a course that, I mean, let's be real here. It's relatively new to most of the field. We haven't been here since 2016. We got a couple of guys with a 4 in front of their age, Justin Rose and Adam Scott, that have played here. But for the most part, everyone's getting their first look at Doral this week.
Yeah, when I look at Gotterup, I automatically think of who's the most reactionary player on tour. And it might be this guy.
I think you're right.
I mean, you talk about a player that sees his shot, very little time, goes after it. He's had great success. And I was reading, a transcript, and somebody asked him about his golf swing and aiming left and all this stuff. You know what he replied?
What do you say?
I don't care how it looks.
Oh, I love that.
Trophies look pretty good on my mantle.
Yes, they do. You know,
I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the golf swing.
Oh, yeah.
In professional golf on the PGA Tour.
A pretty golf swing doesn't pay any money.
No, but you can walk up and down that line and you can go, oh, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that, I'd like to be this, I'd like to do that. Then all of a sudden, you start trying to piece a bunch of I'd like to do's. It's going to be bye-bye. You're going to be gone.
11th ranked player in the world now.
Some of these bigger guys that hammer the ball, I'm always blown away at kind of the lack of width in their I mean, he's pretty narrow, I would say, Gotterup, all things considered, for a PGA Tour player on the way back. I think I like Finau, the same thing, just arms super close to the body on the way back, but they create their distance with angles on the way down, and this guy's as good as it gets. I mean, I'm telling you, if the wind starts blowing this week, it plays into his hands so much.
Yeah, it's very narrow at the top of his swing. You look at a guy like Potkeeter,
Yeah, the bigger guys are...
it gets kind of narrow, but then all of a sudden, it's out there very quickly, and all of a sudden the golf ball turns into an aspirin. It gets small quick.
Well, how about this guy right here? Oh, never mind. We'll go back to Gotterup.
And there's the signature. I'm not going to tighten this Velcro. I'm just going to let it hang.
I think his hands are so big he can't tighten it.
I asked him about it. He said he just was hitting balls one day with it, and it said it felt pretty good. So went out and played well, and he hadn't changed it since.
Well, sometimes, in the start of the week, whatever company you're with will leave you 4 or 5 gloves in your locker, and they'll all say the same size, but they don't all fit. They're not always the same fit. I'm wondering if that eventually one day he was just like, it's a little tight, I'm going to leave it off, and then we just ran with it.
You think that happens with shirts?
Yes, absolutely.
No doubt he's a heavy hitter of the golf ball. And John McGinnis is standing by, another man who can flush it.
Rick Smith, Jhonattan Vegas. How'd this partnership come about? How long have you guys known each other?
We've known each other a long time, but it's probably, 3 years now?
It's been 3 years now, yeah.
Known 3 years.
Yeah, so, I got done with Kevin Kirk in 21. I spent about a year without a coach, kind of thinking about who to work with. And, I'm not a very technical guy. I don't like to think about technicalities when I'm swinging the golf club. So when I started digging a little bit of who could be the guy, to kind of help me with that, kind of the man came into the radar, and we started doing some work actually here on the back range here at Doral when he was here. So it's been going awesome.
Yeah, you're playing great. How do you approach? you're obviously one of the great teachers in the game today, but how do you approach working with a tour player who's already established, who's a veteran?
I think the most important thing is he's a feel guy too, you know, and like he said, he doesn't want to get all bound with mechanics because you lose your rhythm. One of his assets is he's got incredible rhythm. So if the club is on plane and the club can be released the right way, he can beat everybody. So it's a matter of putting. So we're really, he had a shoulder surgery, so we're working around some stuff, and it looks like it's starting to come into gear.
What equipment do you guys have here?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously we got alignment. Obviously we got the foresight just to kind of see how far the ball's traveling with this heat and humidity. But besides that, we're just hitting shots and feeling shots.
Is there anything in your brain, and any swing trigger, any swing keys that you're thinking of these days?
I mean, to be honest, everything I've ever thought about golf, is great rhythm. I feel like if I have a good rhythm, even with poor mechanics, you can override a bunch of things. Obviously, you want to swing as on plane as possible and control the face as good as you can. But at the end of the day, you know, I feel like great rhythm is kind of what's going to translate to the golf course, and that's kind of what we focus on almost every day.
And Rick being such a great dancer, he can relate to the rhythm, right?
Well, that's hysterical, actually, John. But you know what? When he's on a good circle and he can release as hard as he wants and it doesn't go left, we're making headway.
That is fantastic. Will you hit a couple? Let us take a look.
For sure.
Rick, I'm gonna get you to talk me through this swing. Talk about his grip. Talk about
his glove off to get a little better feel for his left-hand grip. Typically, if you start hooking it, you have a tendency to weaken the grip, which makes it even harder to square the face. So then it leads to a block. So here you're seeing a great grip, left-hand position, a little bit more diagonally oriented, not in his palm, allows him to hinge naturally. And notice his corner on the through swing. You know, when you start hooking, you start swinging out and flipping and blocking. And so we're getting rid of that. But his grip, he feels like right now he can release hard and not hit left, which is really the key for every great player.
And such incredible. I've always admired the width in his golf swing.
Gorgeous. I mean, that's an asset. And width creates turn. A lot of people get caught up in turn, but the width helps create that. Jack Nicklaus used to say that. He used to say, hey, I said, did Jack Grout ever tell you to get turned? He said, never. He just told him to get a little wider. But now he's got width with set, which is part of why this grip is matching up nice to that.
He charges a lot of money for tips like that. We just got him for free. Gentlemen, have a great week.
Thank you, buddy. Good seeing you again. You look good, man.
Well, as a Latin American player playing in Miami, it means a lot. He said it means that we're going to have a lot of support this week, especially because his younger brother, Julio, is a teaching instructor here at Doral. So Johnny's been spending quite a bit of time around here.
Yes, he has. There were some really good pearls there from Rick Smith. Really good.
Well, as John McGinnis said, he charges a lot to get that wisdom. We just got it for free. That's why we're hanging out on the range at Trump National Doral, the Blue Monster. For the first time in 10 years, we're back in Miami. in a playoff. Craig Perry in 2004 over Scott Verplank. One of the most famous shots on the 18th at the Blue Monster. A hole out to walk off with the hardware. A kiss. And then a gift to the golf gods. Into the water the ball went, but a win for Craig Perry. It's time now for a closer look at the par 4 18th hole at the Trump National Doral, presented by ReliaQuest. The right approach leads to improved outcomes. 473 yards. This hole was built with bad intentions. It is one tough customer, Billy Kratzer.
Indeed it is, and if the wind goes into you with the tee shot, then your mind gets very active.
Yeah, 305 carry on that bunker over there on the left. You better step on it if you plan on getting it over into the fairway. I've talked to a few guys yesterday. They hit it down the right, kicked left into the water. They were shocked at where their balls ended up.
Yeah, and anything left of this green, it's going to be wet.
You have to face it. You're going to step up there, and as Tiger said, you just have to hit a shot. And that's exactly what you've got to do. You've got to hit a couple of them here at 18. Let's hear what the players think about the 18th and how they're going to handle it.
Wind was in off the left today, which is ultimately like the hardest wind you can play that hole in because you can't quite cover the left side, so there's a bit of a pinch point. Fairway's only about 15 yards wide maybe at that section, which today was the landing section. So, the right-hand trees are going to be a busy place, with 70 guys coming through there on that wind direction, and then it's you're in the lap of the gods there in terms of the lie you get and what have you. So just a very narrow tee shot and then obviously hazards along the way. So you're trying to manage the risk really on that hole. But you basically, to play it properly, you have to stand up and make 2 great swings. And then if the wind flips the other way, it's a bit of a different hole. You can get 9-iron in your hand. It can become, a lot less demanding. But today was how it plays its toughest for sure.
Yeah, it's just such a demanding driving hole. Obviously, it's a long hole. So everyone's looking to, move it down there as best they can. From memory, seems like the wind can be in off the left, or at least off the left very often, which forces you to aim toward the water. And the fairway is one of the more narrow fairways on the golf course, so there's not a lot of room as that ball starts moving on the left to right wind to hold the fairway. Just a very demanding tee shot. If you're in the fairway, it's still a demanding second shot with the water left again, but once you're off the fairway, it's really tough because angles are a problem, rough is a problem, trees are a problem. So it's a great closing hole for championship golf because it demands 2 great shots to have a kind of a regulation par, and I quite like that, to be honest.
A man who knows how to handle it. 2016, it was Adam Scott walking away with the trophy. And you're going to have to hit the center of the club. We've been harping on it, and you look at all the stats that line up. 2 things that always stand out here: distance off of the tee, and then the ability to hit greens in regulation.
Yeah, I feel like we've heard the word demanding quite a bit. What do you think of Spieth's chances this week?
I think if the iron play continues to improve, I'm okay with him pushing when it comes Sunday, because I think the driver has become more of a reliable club for him.
It's a weapon.
More of a weapon. He can go ahead and push it down there closer. He can make more positive, aggressive swings. And I just think, if it gets windy, like we're anticipating, and the iron play doesn't have to be so good. If it's just a little good, I think it's a golf course that you can certainly do well on.
Billy, when he first came out and didn't miss a putt inside of 20 feet, obviously that was kind of, the view from 30,000 feet was this guy's has a phenomenal short game and gets it done that way. But over the course of the last 10 years or so, he really has become a phenomenal driver of the ball. A lot of people say he's sneaky long. I don't think there's anything sneaky about it. I mean, he delivers a very, very heavy hit to the back of the ball with the driver. It's got a great flight. For me, Jordan struggles on the uncomfortable tee shots, and it's not necessarily, for me, it's more about wind direction. It's not necessarily where the trouble is, but if, say there's trouble left and the wind's in off the left, for a right-hander, that's the toughest one you're gonna get. And I think if he can get by those, which I think he can this week, because you can miss away from the demanding side and play out of the trees here. It's not the longest rough. There's no low-lying limbs. They're palm trees here. So I think the kid in him can come out this week. The creativity in him can come out this week, especially if the wind blows. It gets him out of the side of the brain that's playing golf swing and gets him into the, I'm Jordan Spieth, I'm going to get the ball into the hole.
Well, to both of your points, 64th in total driving. He's averaging 307 yards off the tee. He's 43rd. And earlier this week, Adam Scott talked about his strategy for how he's going to play. And what he said was, I need to lean into my instincts as a player and play as much like a kid as I can.
There you go.
Hit it long, hit it straight, have fun.
That's it.
It is the Blue Monster, though.
Ooh, talk about long, straight. That's your guy right there.
We're going to watch him on the range. We're hanging out at the Blue Monster. Nicholas, Trevino, Billy Casper, Raymond Floyd, Faldo, Els, Tiger, they've all won here. You win here, that's putting your name in the neon lights. Because you have to do everything well, especially hit it well. And this is something that, so far, Gary Woodland this season has been excellent, a winner again, finally, in Houston. And Billy, you've touched on it. It has been one of the emotional stories over the past couple of seasons on the PGA Tour, but to finally see Gary Woodland at 41 years of age collect another win, his 5th on the PGA Tour, it was heartwarming.
I thought 2025 was a pretty good story when he finished second and birdied the 72nd hole to kind of carry through with his exemption from the medical. But this was unbelievably like I said earlier, the big heart tug and with him winning and to be able to walk up that 72nd hole with a 4-shot lead, I mean, that was gold. And,
I walked around a little bit with Gary and Scottie yesterday. They played 9 holes together, front 9, and It looked good. I mean, this is a guy who's in a great mood right now. He doesn't live too far from Doral. He's a South Florida resident. I actually talked to him a little bit, Billy, about the win. It was the first time I'd seen him since he'd won, and it was like, obviously going through all the stuff I've been through the last few years, it's amazing. But the really cool thing for me now is in the last 3 years, I haven't been able to plan a schedule. And now I can again. He knows what events he's playing in. This is a big-time talent on the PGA Tour. It's never going to be a physical thing with Gary Woodland, not for a long time. I mean, look at this guy.
Yeah. I mean, and when you talk to Randy Smith and you talk to Gary Woodland, they will tell you that all of a sudden the clubhead speed, the body speed, the ball speed, all the speed has come back. In fact, it's become greater. And last time I looked, he was second on tour with the driver in distance.
A lot of models this week like this guy. A lot of models do.
Yeah, and the putting under the pressure that he was under, seemingly every time that he had that critical putt, he made the putt at Houston. And for him to get back and like you say, now you kind of plan everything. Everything's in front of you. You know exactly what you're going to do. There's no guesswork whatsoever, and that's gonna bode big for him.
We've been talking a little about rhythm today. I mean, we just had Jhonattan Vegas and Rick Smith on, harping on it. I mean, this is another big guy with just phenomenal rhythm. You very rarely see, I don't think I've ever seen Gary overswing.
Yeah, and when he really wants to go after one, you can see how much of a download from the top of the swing.
He cocks that thing down
when
big
he
time.
starts down, I mean, that thing is double loaded. And when he delivers the punch, it's significant.
Well known for his ability to hit the stingers, the low shots with long irons and drivers. We just saw Chris Gotterup. Matt, you were talking about his ability to do that. Matthew Fitzpatrick has added that to his repertoire, the stinging low bullet cut to the driver that he relies on. Why aren't more players headed this direction?
Well, it takes a lot of power to do it. I mean, a lot of guys do it, don't even realize they're doing it. The drivers, the way they're made now, if you just tee them low and hit it out of the center, they're gonna fly like a stinger.
You see Gary do it a lot off the tee with an iron. Fitzpatrick, you can kind of see it. In fact, the 4-iron he hit at Hilton Head, that was kind of that low, kind of piercing iron shot. But yeah, I mean, you get on top of the ball like some of these guys can, you can produce that shot.
Speed, Ned. That's the answer. That's the reason a lot of guys don't do it. They don't have the speed.
You're sitting next to one of them.
Yeah,
It is not Billy.
You are too.
Adam Scott. Poetry in motion. So nice to be back in the Miami area for the Cadillac Championship. Trump National Doral, the Blue Monster. First time the PGA Tour has been back here since 2016. And the last time we walked off the 18th green, it was this man who was holding the hardware, Adam Scott, coming from 3 behind that Sunday. Tremendous track record in his 11 prior appearances around the Blue Monster. 18 of the 72 players this week have experience playing this golf course. But Billy, to your point, it's a different golf course than what we have really seen since 2016. They've added some length, they've shifted bunkers, they've adjusted teeing areas.
Moved a few greens, put a few bunkers in, a little more water in play. See Adam. A little bit of the kind of the old school here.
Boy, it never gets far off, does it?
No, and you know, you start looking at his golf swing 20 years ago to now. I mean, it's amazing that he's been able to keep up the speed and everything. But yeah, he's going to look at his numbers, and you know, I think a very valuable tool to look at numbers is the TrackMan or the Flight Scope with the wedges.
Yeah,
you know, to look at the spin.
Mm-hmm.
You take a look, and love the setup, but look at the setup of 2016. And,
yeah, 2016 is on the left, right?
Yeah, but you look how. I want you to take a look. You can stop it right there. Look at where this shoulder is on the backswing.
Oh.
I mean, 90 degrees
like
is sufficient. That's like 110. And then you go ahead and you get down to the ball. But another thing right there is look how much in a line he is. And the thing I want you to notice right here, even though he's moving forward, he's inside that left leg at impact. That is huge. And then look at the full stretch forward with the right shoulder down the line. That's awesome. And then you look at today, a little bit of a flex with that right knee. He was a little straighter in 2016, but still really great hand position. You watch him release through, and again, I want you to look at everything inside that left leg at impact, and then you drive through. And again, both swings, you're very level with the hips through the shot.
Drink it in.
He's been around for a minute, hasn't he? Turned pro in 2000 and burst right onto the scene. 33 professional wins now in his career. Former world #1.
Ned, I've always been obsessed. I mean, I know I'm not alone, but I've always been obsessed with this golf swing. When I was playing and struggling, sometimes I would just go, I would do it quietly, but I would sit behind him and watch him hit balls from maybe 50 or 60 yards, just to osmosis more than anything. Rhythm, lines, angles, you name it. This is a guy where if you go get a golf lesson from, you know, Joe Schmo, he's going to put Adam Scott's swing up on the mirror next to yours, and you're going to try and mirror it. It's a little, they don't really teach, as pretty as his swing is and the fluidity in it, the modern golf swing now is more shut on the way back and rotational on the way through. Adam's one that it kind of folds up nicely for him. There's a bit of a sequence on the way back. It's been the same his whole career, but that toe is pointed at, you know, at the first checkpoint there, whatever it is, P2 or what do we call it these days, Billy?
Just
you know, hip height. Yes.
Yeah.
That toe is pointed straight up in the air. It's not the same angle as his back line. It's straight up in the air, and he's an open to closed player.
And that allows him to go ahead and complete the backswing. How many times do we see guys, they get a little stuck right at the beginning. They feel jammed when they try to keep the club square.
Yep.
They feel jammed, and then all of a sudden there's kind of a reroute, and you can never catch up. But Adam, he's always had the ability to put the club pretty much in the position. Maybe the left arm a little bit lower now that he's 45 at the top of his swing, more into the across the right shoulder at the top. But all in all, this golf swing has been good for 26 years as a professional.
He's talked about, in his estimation, the physical maintenance as important as the technique, and he's flexibility, number one, strength, number two. He actually hooked up with Dr. Kwan, who's a biomechanist, to figure out how to generate more speed, but doing it in a way that isn't going to hurt his body. You hear a lot of trying to do the swing training, that speed training, they end up hurting yourself, and they've built this thing from the ground up.
Whenever we have him on, and we do the ball speed, you know, the little kind of what we're seeing now on the screen, the graphics and everything with the driver, he's 182 to 186 ball speed with every tee shot he hits.
My favorite.
Here's your guy. Don't go anywhere. Si Woo Kim is next on the range here at the Cadillac Championship. On the range with Matt Every, Billy Kratzert, and Si Woo Kim. Just sit back and enjoy it.
One of the most fluid golf swings on the PGA Tour. There's 0 hit at the bottom there, Billy. That ball just gets in the way.
I was going to say, we go from Jhonattan, Vegas, Adam Scott, then we go to the power players. This is kind of a combination of all, and technically on point, rhythm.
It's one of the biggest talents on the tour.
It really is.
Just the guy will hit shots just to prove points out there, Billy.
And name me a player that does not love to be paired with Si Woo Kim.
It's free entertainment. There's no doubt about it. A guy I like this week. I mean, you gotta like him. He's playing some of the best golf of his life. He hasn't won this year, but the West Coast for Si Woo was phenomenal. Getting a little caffeine here in the afternoon.
He's prone to do that.
Yeah. He's got that phone on the ground here. Now, there's a decent chance it's hooked up to the TrackMan, and he's just getting his numbers and looking at it down there. There's also a decent chance that there's a soccer game on he's watching in that phone.
Right. That's why he's so entertaining. He's not only talented, but he's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't missed a cut this season. 5 top 10s and 3 top 3 finishes. Consistently elite right now.
Has not missed a cut.
Mm.
And to think, going back to Hawaii this year,
Terrible
He
start.
was 4 over through 7, either 7 or 8. And he brought it all the way back to actually having a reasonable chance to win the golf tournament on Sunday.
Well, Billy, I think a big part of that is the way his mental makeup. He's crazy enough. I can say this because he's one of my good buddies. But he's crazy enough to talk himself into, you know what, I just spotted this whole field 5 or 6 shots. I'm still going to win this tournament.
Okay.
They all have those mini goals in their head. You know what, watch this. And this guy's loaded with that kind of stuff. Hey, you like driver here? No, you never like driver. I'm going to hit it anyways. I mean, that's just kind of how he rolls. He's a phenomenal talent and has more fun than anyone out there playing.
Okay, well, what's the one shot that we all kind of go to when we talk about Siwoo Kim?
Driver off the deck.
Yeah.
14th hole, Players Champion. He's so much fun. And if he putts well, he's going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our coverage of On the Range so far down at the Cadillac Championship south side of Miami. We're going to break down a little bit of how we think it's going to play out. And Billy, again, you had 4 top 10s on this golf course. You know it well. What do you think the number one most important element is to win? And then give me a couple names that we can sprinkle around.
I'm going to say the iron play is going to be the most important part of winning here. With the green complexes, I think the players are going to hit a pretty good amount of the fairways. So I'm going to go with the iron play. And, you know, if I had to pick a player, it's going to be a big branch that I'm going to go out and stand on. It's going to be Scottie Scheffler.
I'm going to just tell you right now, it's going to be Scottie Scheffler for me as well. But as far as parts of the game that need to be dialed in here, I think scrambling is very big, especially if the wind blows. You miss fairways, you're going to be catching flyers out of the Bermuda rough. You're going to miss greens. It's such a hard course. No matter how good you hit it, you're going to miss greens. And getting the ball up and down here is going to be key to keeping the momentum going. Again, nasty Bermuda grass this week. These guys that know where the bottom is, chipping, there's a massive advantage for you. And if you don't, you're going to get exposed.
How about a guy like Chris Gotterup or even an Akshay Bhatia, who we saw earlier, and then one of the elder statesmen, a Justin Rose, perhaps?
I could see Gotterup getting it done. I mean, he's a bully. He plays golf like a bully. He's in great form, tons of confidence, a course that's right up his alley. He ticks the box for me here.
Yeah, I mean, I could go with an Adam Scott. Yeah, I mean, you look at a Justin Rose, he's won this year. Gary Woodland, he's 41, he's won this year. So, hey, 45-year-old, maybe we get 3 guys under 40 winning.
I do think this, Ned, real quick before we get out of here, I think this is going to take over as the hardest course in Florida once it's permanently on the schedule over Bay Hill. This is just a brutal redo here as far as toughness. And if the wind blows a little bit this week, we're going to see low single digits win this thing.
And we're here for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it was designed.
You see him smiling right there? I mean, he was almost...
Next to you all and talk golf.